It's so important. You got to get your friends. You got to vote. Because if you lose, it sends a really bad message. It just sends a bad, and they will build it up. Here's the story. If you win, they're going to make it like ho-hum. And if you lose, they're going to say Trump suffered the greatest defeat in the history of the world. This was the greatest. You can't let that happen to me.
Apparently, they let that happen. That aged poorly. So we're already having fun. So now what you saw there was a rally on Monday where, as you could see, President Trump had begged his fans to go out and vote for incumbent Governor Matt Bevin. Now, Matt Bevin did not win, despite the fact that he's pulling a Roy Moore and not conceding, even though he was beaten by about 5,000 points by Democratic Attorney General Andy Beshear. Oops/sad. I also love how the people behind him are wearing the read the transcript shirts, which I'm pretty sure nobody's read the transcript because it's basically hiding in a secret server. Kind of funny. The only thing that we have is a memo released by the White House, which is also pretty damning if you actually read it. But anyway, so now, look, this is Kentucky. And so fairly conservative, right? And so it's a big surprise that you had a Democrat that beat Matt Bevin. Now, Republicans, especially since Republicans tried to use this campaign as a referendum on Bernie Sanders. Okay, well, now that's interesting, right? And so it turns out that Bernie Sanders had visited the state back in August, right? Didn't campaign with Andy Beshear. Andy Beshear did not mention Bernie Sanders whatsoever. But Bevin ran attack ads saying that, oh, Bernie Sanders and Andy Beshear have the same value system called communism. So, look, on and on. He tried to, tie the campaign with Bernie Sanders. And it turns out, wasn't exactly effective. Backfired. Why? Because Bernie Sanders is strangely incredibly popular. Or not strangely, because he's a great progressive and he's been very consistent on the issues. The issues that are super popular. But here you have this strategy of basically screaming socialism at the top of their lungs. Turns out that's not quite as effective as it used to be, at least in Kentucky, of all places. But okay. So now, another thing that worked against Bevin is that he had a 53% disapproval rate. He was literally one of the most unpopular, or at least for a time, he was the most unpopular governor in the country. I mean, come on, dude. So now Donald Trump responded to this loss by coming out with the best, most epic gaslighting I've ever seen. It's the greatest gaslighting. Nobody gaslights like Donald Trump. Okay. Let me read you the tweet here. So he said, election night won 5 out of 6 elections in Kentucky, including 5 great candidates that I spoke for and introduced last night. Matt Bevin picked up at least 15 points in the last days, but perhaps not enough. Fake news will blame Trump winning in Mississippi governor race. Okay. So no, it's funny, right? Because, you have Trump saying it's going to be, well, they're going to blame me for one, because always make it about him. And I've got more on that, by the way. Sure, they're going to make the biggest story. No, the biggest story is not that, Trump did poorly. No, the biggest story is actually how Trump didn't really help him all that much. So, look, that's very telling, very interesting. Right? But here's the thing. More gaslighting, right? So, they're making literally a big deal about a Republican winning in Mississippi. Okay. Well, look, Republicans usually win in Mississippi. In fact, Mississippi went basically Republican by 30 points last election. This time, a little bit closer, Republicans won by about 6 points. Okay. Now, I think that should have been a slam dunk for Republicans. I don't think it should have been that close. But then again, here you go. That shows how far the blue wave has actually extended south. Now, not only that, but Trump went further and claimed that without evidence, Bevin may have picked up as much as 20 points in the polls thanks to Donald Trump and his Lexington rally. Then you also had RNC chairwoman Ronna McDaniel saying this. She claimed that Bevin was down 17 points and that no one energizes our base like Donald Trump. Okay. Look, is that partly true? All right. Look, I guess Donald Trump does energize the base. Fair enough, right? But at the same time, this base is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's their problem. They're not attracting new people to the rallies. It's the same people, the same kind of people that are going to Trump rallies. The problem with him, with Trump, is that he is not appealing to more and more people. He is appealing to less and less people. Big problem when it comes to re-election. Also a big problem when you're trying to get out the vote in other places. When Donald Trump travels to, for example, Kentucky, as he did, to try to rally new voters to vote for Matt Bevin. Not working. Didn't work. Okay. He came to the state and he did attempt to help a struggling governor. But here's where he claims that I only helped him because it helps me. Because it looks bad for me if I don't. It looks bad for me if he does not win. And so that's the thing. It's not about Bevin, or at least it wasn't about it. It was about himself. It was about his power to affect electoral local politics, which, look, he doesn't always have a huge impact on. Let's be fair. And look, while it is true that he certainly does excite certain people, and many in the Republican base, as I said before, he's not getting new people. He's not really reaching out. He's just pandering to the same old crowd. And that is not good for local elections. And it also might not be good for his national election. So there's that, right? But I think the thing that I want to focus on a little bit more is how he tries to make it about himself. And that's what he's trying to do, right? When he wins, or I should say when the people he goes out and endorses win, it's all about him. Oh, look, I came in, I bumped him up. He was going to try to do the same thing about Bevin. I came in, I bumped him up. He gained 17 points because of me. He gained 20 points because of me. He gained 15 points. Whatever. He gained a billion, million, jillion points because of me. It was all me. I came in and I helped this guy. He should be thankful that I came to his state. It's all about him. It's always been about him. And then, of course, when he loses, not about him. Oh, no, I didn't do anything. But you heard him when he said, don't let this happen to me. It's not about you, dude. It's about Matt Bevin. Look, again, narcissism, right? You got to come out for me. It's all about me. It's me. It's about Donald Trump. Because, look, unfortunately, we have a complete and total narcissist as president. Even if you're a Republican, you've got to point out how that might be a little bit of a problem. How he's not doing it for the cause of conservatism. He's doing it for the cause of Donald Trump, just like he's done everything. And the sooner they realize that their leader is a narcissist that doesn't actually care at all about advancing conservative values or advancing Republican or conservative candidates, the better off they will be. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a patreon.com/TYTNation set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.